currently April the 2nd, 2019, and I thought that I would do a quick little update video of the Porsche 904 project. As you can see here, we've got the rear muffler on with the rear tailpipes attached. We've got the right side rear secondary coming from the 3-into-1 collector from the primaries, which we had to modify because I was unable to pull my piston number 2 or cylinder number 2 plug wire out. We've got the wiring harness there with the multi-pin plug. The oil filter is in place. We also have the engine in, bolted up to the gearbox. The rear shocks are attached as a pushrod rear suspension. Everything's in place there. And where my ECU is, I had to modify the mount there. Originally it was rotated 90 degrees to the right with the access plug for the data on the top, but I realized once the panel that goes in here sits on top, I wouldn't be able to plug in my computer to access the data, so I had to rotate it 90 degrees counterclockwise. So I just have to open the door and I can plug my computer into this port here, and actually it made the wiring not so tight. This will all be bundled up with tie wraps, made a little neater. You can see where the battery goes there, and down on the bottom we have the fuel pump, fuel filter. I'm using a Bosch 044 fuel filter. There's my fuel cell. There's the breather hose there, which is a 8AN hose, as is the supply line for the fuel. All the rest of the lines are 6AN braided fuel lines. We have the filler tube there with my aircraft filler cap. I just mounted the front nose section. It will be removable. We have quite a few modifications to make there to have that fit properly. Also, the front framework I have where my front oil cooler sits right there is been mounted. Requires some fine tuning for that. And on the bottom is the basis for the front splitter, which again, that will be modified and fit properly once we get the bodywork on. And I have my master cylinder reservoirs in place, with the hoses attached, and I have my pedal cluster in. Still have to hook up my balance bar adjuster and adjust the pedal positions. We'll still have to be mounting the flares, obviously, because the tires stick out way too far. Where the nose sits, it still has to be moved back, obviously a few inches, to mate up with the main body, which is sitting right over there. We have the seat in place. Down there we can see my tilt and proportioning valve for the rear brakes, so I can reduce the amount of braking on my rear brakes if I need. We have our fuse block there for all my fused items. My gear shift selector right there for the Hewland 6-speed sequential. My dash, my steering wheel, my switch panel with the starter button and all my switches, and my balance bar adjuster. And the shifter is in place. And we have my reverse shift lever there, which you can see is the shorter one. We have the oil tank sitting here. We haven't finished fabricating it. We're doing it in place. I still have to have the inlet and outlet fittings positioned and mounted. And you can see the return fuel line there on the left side. Down below are my two quick disconnects for the clutch line and the rear brakes. The return line for my oil is down there without a hose attached, and it will come up and attach probably to the corner here for the inlet on the oil tank. Down below we can see the supply line fitting, which is a 16 AN 1-inch fitting. Will supply the oil to the engine. Have to route it up past the headers. My starter mounts down below. It's currently not mounted. And I have some wiring going to the back for my brake lights. And I'm actually going to have turn signals on it. And those are the 11-inch rear wheels and tires I'll be using, which have my own manufacturer center lock centers, using BBS rim halves, and I'm using Hoosier rear tires and front tires as well. So basically that's the update to this point, and it's April 2nd, 2019, and there'll be probably another update in another month. Hopefully this thing will be much further along. That's it.